All right. So I think I saw one more person jump in. No? Okay. So welcome everybody. Good evening, and glad you guys can join us, as I mentioned. My name is Matt Mitchell. I'm the Prevention Services Manager with the City of Somerville's Health and Human Services Department in the Somerville Prevention Services Division. I'm excited. My role oversees all of the city's programs and initiatives related to substance use prevention with a particular focus on youth. I have the pleasure of emceeing the event tonight, and I'm glad to see you all, and all of you have made the time to come tonight. I'd like to acknowledge some local officials that I believe I saw slip in. Jesse Klingen, are you here, City Councilor?
I am here, yes.
All right, did you want to?
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm glad to be here for a short time. We have a council meeting coming up, but I'm happy to be here for as long as I can stay. Thank you.
We're glad to have you. Was there any other local or state officials that I did not catch slip in? I saw his. No? Okay. Well, feel free to chime in if you do. So thank you again, Jesse, for your continued support as well, and for everybody who's joined us. So this problem gambling awareness prevention photo voice project started about 1.5 years ago now. When we became aware of the opportunity from DPH, we started talking about it with our partners at CHA, Cambridge Health Alliance, to see how we could work together to collaborate with CHA Everett Youth as well as Malden YWCA Youth. So this event is a little bit different from previous iterations by other grantees where it's completely virtual. The other iterations have been done in person, so we are doing something a little bit different this time around. We hope you enjoy hearing from our youth about problem gambling prevention efforts as we in Somerville Prevention look to expand our scope of work to include such behavioral addictions, in addition to the ongoing substance use prevention work that we do. So before turning it over to the project staff and youth, we would like to have some keynote speakers to introduce themselves and talk a little bit about some of their role in some of the substance use prevention work. I did believe I just saw Councillor Mba join. Are you with us? All right, maybe not, but we'll continue on. If you want to say a few words, maybe we can save it at the end. So our first introductory speaker is the director of the City of Somerville's Health and Human Services Department, Doug Kress. Doug, take it away.
Sorry, everybody. We're having a few technical difficulties over here at the health department. It's been one of those busy days, but I just, thank you, Matt. I really appreciate being invited here today and being part of the welcoming and an opportunity to share in this night where you're presenting a lot of the photos and the work that all of you have been doing. And I will admit, I am amazed at the photos some of you have been able to produce. They are absolutely fantastic. Very creative, and the clarity in some of them is wonderful. So thank you for taking the time to do that. As people have said, my name is Doug Kress, and I am the Director of Health and Human Services here for the City of Somerville. And the Prevention Services is just one of our divisions that we have here at the Health Department. And I just want to really send up my kudos to them in the work that they've been actually doing and expanding upon. When I first arrived here just over, it's been 6 years now, we were really focused in on just a couple of items around substance use prevention. And, with Lovely and Kira and Bonnie and Matt leading that effort, we really have grown that whole department into looking at a variety of things, bringing on additional staff such as Kira, who's done a great job of working with our young people in the schools and continuing to provide a variety of services. This is just one more example of the innovation that the staff have been able to look at and bring to our city. Doing this education and educating the community about the problem gambling efforts has just been a great asset for us, especially as we see, a lot of things that have changed over the past year due to COVID and the concerns that we have as we move forward and people are moving inside and also just being more by themselves in the isolation. It's things that we have to think about. So prevention services not only looks at this, but also the substance uses and a variety of other things that we know young people especially may turn to in these challenging times. So we want to make sure that we have those services available to them and expand those opportunities for young people to find unique and creative ways to really express themselves. And I think this is one of those ways to do that. I know Lovely has done an amazing job working on a variety of things with our young people in the past. Photovoice is one of those things that she truly does highlight quite well and does an amazing job. So thank you, Lovely, for your work on that. And that extra stuff with Kara coming in and working with our young people, giving that opportunity to talk with her smile and just her way of being able to be a person that you can open up to has been amazing. So thank you to the two of you. You know, I can't forget about some of the other work that we've done under prevention services through Bonnie Carroll, who's been a tireless advocate around prevention around the smoking and tobacco issues. And she has been a leader, not just in Somerville, but across the Commonwealth and the work that we've been doing around that. So thank you to all of you. And of course, Matt, with your leadership around the whole department itself, it's been great. So this is an exciting expansion for us, having the Photovoice right here today. And we're going to present some of the work that you all have done and share that with the community. And I'm excited to watch the reactions many of you will have on this. And you being able to present the work that you've done and you've worked hard on. Thank you for the work you're doing. You know, this wouldn't be possible without some of our partners that are out there, including the Department of Public Health Offices of Problem Gambling Services, or even EDC, and providing us with the technical supports that they have. And of course, I can never forget about our wonderful community partner, Cambridge Health Alliance. I've seen a couple of you on here. I think I saw Kathy Betts on here and Jean Granick, who also has done some amazing work throughout the community. Thank you for your partnership in the past on this program and many others that are coming forward. Lastly, I just wanted to say thank you to our elected officials who are with us tonight. You know, it's been a difficult year a really difficult year for many of us. And we still have a lot of support. And I thank you for that support, not only around the challenging year that we had behind us, but also the work we still have in front of us. And your support in making sure that we have the funding to be able to move that forward, your support so that we can try unique and creative things, and your support and your guidance when it comes time to bringing this out to the community and making it available for our community. You are leaders in our community. We thank you for that. And we also thank all of our young people now as we look at them to be our future leaders. And the work that you're going to present tonight is just one example of how you're able to do that. So thank you all for being here tonight, taking time out of your schedule to listen in, to see, to voice your opinions, and to show the creative work that we have here in Somerville and that we can take it elsewhere beyond that. I wish you a lot of luck tonight as we go through this and hope we don't have a lot of technical difficulties. I want you all to stay safe, and I remind you that the best way to protect yourself moving forward in these days, especially in times of COVID, is making sure that we're wearing a mask that's covering our nose and our mouth, making sure that it's a multi-plied, so we know that gaiters are not a good thing. We want to move beyond those. Social distancing, which means keeping your distance for other people.
That's
but
fine.
then also washing your hands a lot. All these things are going to help us stay safe so that soon and even next year, we'll be able to do this kind of work in person, and we can actually sit around and talk about these next to one another instead of just on a Zoom meeting. So thank you very much for inviting me tonight. I'm looking forward to this. I am going to take my picture off so I make sure that I keep my my video going so I can see it. With that, I'm going to hand it back over to Matt.
All right. Thank you so much, Doug. We appreciate those words and all the support that you give us, especially here in prevention. So next up, we will hear from Jean Granick from Cambridge Health Alliance. Jean?
Thank you, Matt. So welcome, everybody. We're very excited to be here tonight and looking forward to hearing and learning from our Somerville youth who have been fully engaged and participating in this innovative Photovoice project. Cambridge Health Alliance and the Community Health Department is very pleased and proud to be working in partnership with the City of Somerville, Malden YWCA, and the City of Everett to create a three-city perspective of youth voices as it relates to prevention of youth gambling. Some of you may have been aware of or attended the Malden exhibition, which was done in December 2019. In Everett, we started the project and we had a slight, due to COVID, some changes, and we didn't get to have an exhibition in the traditional sense, but we did work on an Instagram account, which we will can share. And now we have Somerville for the trifecta. So we also look forward to Everett starting again in 2021. So we're very excited. But most importantly, I'd like to acknowledge and express my gratitude for the hard work that Matt, Lovely, and Eloise have put into this program. They have been working since this summer to make this program come to fruition. And they have just been incredible people to work with, and really respect and appreciate their dedication. So all this would not be possible without our funding from the Department of Public Health, and we are most appreciative of that. And with that, I'm gonna hand it back to Matt, because I think we really want to see the photos, so we'll move this program along. So thank you, Matt. Thank you, everybody, for attending this evening.
Thank you, Jean. I appreciate the kind words. Before I turn it over to our last keynote speaker, Councillor Amba, I did want to acknowledge that you are here. If you wanted to say a few words, feel free to do so, or introduce yourself if you'd like.
Hey, Matt.
There you go.
Yeah, I've been needing, I'm trying to do some multitasking here. Like, I just want to say, I'm really grateful, for what you're doing, and also acknowledge the fact that I've been seeing a lot of your emails. I cannot be more humbled to see the work you're doing. I have to be honest, our youth haven't always been like front and center of our public debates. And so just seeing like what this unprecedented time has brought, before us, it's really humbling to see that, they are actually, like they are well taken care of. So I'm just want to say, continue to let us know how we can support you and this youth. And yeah, I'm just grateful to be here, and thank you for the opportunity.
Appreciate it. Thank you for joining us. We're glad to have you. All right, so without further ado, our last introductory speaker will be Rachel Kane from the Massachusetts Department of Public Health Office of Problem Gambling Services.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Matt. So as Matt said, I'm Rachel Kane. I'm the Assistant Director of Programs and Services in the Office of Problem Gambling Services at the Department of Public Health. And I'm joined here tonight by my wonderful colleague, Lorena Lama, who's the Deputy Director for our office. And we're so excited to be here with you for the Somerville Photovoice exhibition. As folks have said, this is different from prior years, and we really appreciate everyone, working through this virtual platform and just doing some incredible work throughout this project. Our office is really dedicated to preventing and reducing gambling-related harm across the state, and we do this through a focus on equity, leading with data and community voice. And we have a comprehensive public health approach for our work. And when I think of Photovoice, I think it's a really perfect encapsulation of all of these qualities. It's an incredible example of bringing public health and prevention to gambling-related work. Last year, in 2019 alone, we had 47 youth participants, and we reached over 6,000 community members. And the impact of the program includes raising awareness among those community members, and I think so importantly, empowering our youth to be catalysts of change in their communities. And hearing from and seeing youth doing this is honestly one of the best parts of my job. It's incredible, and I'm so excited to get to be here tonight. And just want to say all of this is possible because of our partners, right? The Cambridge Health Alliance, the City of Somerville, our incredible TA providers at the Massachusetts Center of Excellence on Problem Gambling Prevention. And we also have a great evaluator through social science research and evaluation. And thanks to everyone for taking the time to be here tonight, our elected officials, the caregivers in the room, our community partners. We're so grateful for your time and attention to this incredible work. And I do have to take a moment to just a special thank you to the team in Somerville. I know a lot of work has gone into this, and we thank you for all the dedication and commitment to the work and to our youth. I've had a chance to take a sneak peek at the photos. I am blown away and cannot wait to hear your voice spoken to the photos. So thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to the presentation. Matt, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Rachel. I can certainly say very much appreciate your kind words and for you guys being here tonight and supporting all of the projects. So, all right, without further ado, I think we're going to get into it. I'm going to turn it over to lovely Heller Botari and Eloise White to kick off the youth presentations of their photos and the captions. So, guys, take it away.
Thank you so much, Matt. Thank you to all the wonderful speakers, Doug, Rachel, Jean, and thank you all so much for joining us tonight for this very special Photovoice event. My name is Lovely Heller Botari, and I'm the Program Director with Somerville Cares About Prevention in the Health and Human Services Department. Here with me tonight is Eloise White, Community Health Intern from Tufts University. Say hello, Eloise.
Hi, everyone.
And our very talented Photovoice youth leaders who will introduce themselves and their work in just a moment. But first, I want to invite each person here tonight to introduce themselves in the chat and share one word that comes to mind when you think of underage or problem gambling. Eloise and Matt will read off some of the words that you write. So take a moment. Introduce yourself, type your name into the chat, and one word that you think of or that comes to mind when you think of underage or problem gambling. So I'm seeing some toxic, problematic, unhealthy, worried, hidden, unhealthy, sad, unaware, bad, shame, hidden, addicting, exploitative, addiction, misinformation, naive. Oh, so many words. Painful, betting, debt, fast, unhealthy, upsetting. Okay, well, thank you all for sharing those words and introducing yourselves in the chat. Now I want to just share a little bit about our work, and we'll make it quick so we can get to the Photovoice. Eloise and I have had the pleasure of working with these wonderful youth leaders here tonight for the last 5 months, culminating in this virtual community exhibit tonight. Each youth is going to share 2 of their favorite photos along with their captions related to underage and problem gambling in the community. Before we get started, I'm going to turn it over to Eloise to share a bit more about the process that the youth have been working through with us over these several months.
Hi, everyone. I'm Eloise. I'm a senior at Tufts University, and I am the community health intern with Somerville Cares About Prevention. So this program began with an 8-week curriculum in which all of the youth, who you will meet in just a moment, learned about gambling risks and prevention, photography ethics and techniques, and how to promote and target issues that matter to them. After we worked through all this information, the youth spent several weeks taking photos during their own time and then brought them to us, and we reviewed them as a group and developed captions for each of the photos. Now they're going to share their top photos and captions with you all. At points in this presentation, you will have a chance to share any questions or comments you may have for the youth. You are welcome to use the chat or wait for when we give you a moment to share. So we hope you really enjoy this presentation. The youth have spent a lot of time working on it, and Shreya is up first to take it away.
Hello, I am Shia Musadu, and I am a Photovoice team participant. Today, I will be showing you the photos that I took over the months in this project relating to gambling and its effects on youth. In this first picture, the child is being provided a lottery ticket and is being exposed to gambling. When children are provided with different gambling-related products like scratch tickets by adults in their life, it can lead to unhealthy risks later. Unfortunately, most don't realize the harm because kids and adults aren't educated about the potential consequences such as problem gambling. We can create more awareness about early exposure to gambling and potential risks of gambling by creating educational posters across areas where gambling products are available. Next slide, please. A child holding a gambling ticket is visible in the second picture. The child is surrounded by different types of healthy games and activities, such as coloring, drawing, and crafting. But instead of doing all the activities the child could do, the youth is focused on the gambling ticket. When young children are taught how to gamble at a young age through exposure, they can gain unhealthy habits, which can stay for life. Adults need to provide healthy risks for children and work to reduce exposure to potentially unhealthy risks, such as gambling. In Photovoice, we learned how gambling affects the community and different photography skills. I enjoyed learning about healthy risks and the different healthy risks to do. Thank you. Next up is Kate.
Hi, my name is Kate. I'm a Photovoice leader, and I've been participating in the Photovoice project for about 5 months. Today, I'll be sharing with you photos I've taken over the past 5 months in regarding the issue of youth gambling. But first, I'd like to share with you something I learned. What a healthy risk is. A healthy risk is a risk that you can take that does not endanger your health and safety. My first photo is of a skate park, a perfect place to take a healthy risk. Skate parks exist as a place for youth to take healthy risks. Their existence is the product of education advocacy for safe spaces for youth to take healthy risks in a supportive community. We should support such spaces and advocate for more and similar spaces. Having more places like this skate park would lower youth gambling for multiple reasons. 1, people can participate in activities with their community. Gambling is a non-community oriented activity. 2, kids can get the same adrenaline rush and dopamine hit from gambling, from skateboarding as they would gambling without developing an addiction. Next slide, please. My second photo is of an idyllic autumn day with the casino looming over the scene being the most prominent object. The casino is an advertisement for all gambling, problem gambling, youth gambling, and legal gambling. Casinos encourage the thought that gambling is a fun and harmless activity, which then encourages kids to try it. Education on why gambling can be dangerous, along with minimizing where and when people can gamble, is crucial to lowering the rate of youth gambling. Before I go, I would love to share with you something I enjoyed. Taking all the photos and implementing photo-taking strategies was so fun, and I can't wait to continue using the strategies when taking photos on my own. Thank you all for listening to talk about my photos today. The next Photovoice leader is Eli. Take it away.
Hello, my name is Eli Hall, and I've been working on the Somerville Photovoice project for 5 months. During those 5 months, I have captured images that show the issue that problem gambling is in this community and in this country and beyond. These are the photos I took to represent this issue. Here we see 2 sets of cards that have been used in a game. This is to show that playing an innocent card game is no big deal. It's fun. When money is involved, the game can change from fun to dangerous very quickly. When someone starts to make worse and worse choices regarding gambling, it could turn into problem gambling. Problem gambling can lead to distance from family and other serious issues. To make sure this never happens to any of us, we must make sure that we are all educated about the risks of gambling. Here's the next photo I chose to show this issue. Here we see from a park with a view of the Encore Casino of Everett, Massachusetts. People in the community will be enticed to visit and gamble because of the large fancy building with fancy buses that take you there. However, it is easy to forget about the risks of gambling. Unfortunately, the message this place broadcasts is much worse than the good things about it. One thing that we can do about it is to make sure that the youth in the community are educated on the problem and are prepared to resist gambling and to know that it is not the answer. Something that I learned during this project is that gambling is a real problem in this community and the ethics of photography. The thing that I liked best about the program was learning things about photography. Thanks for listening. Next up is Aisha.
Hi, my name is Aisha and I'm a Photovoice team participant. I have enjoyed working with this group over the past 5 months. What you see in my first picture is my younger brother's hand about to roll a pair of dice. This relates to our lives because humans have the tendency to really like something to a point that it could become dangerous. What we can do about this problem is to encourage people at a young age not to gamble and to promote a healthy lifestyle right from the beginning. In my next picture, you see my brother throwing dice which connects to the first picture because it looks like he is in the middle of a game, often seen when gambling. This relates to our lives because, as I said previously, dice are as common as a deck of cards and can be accessible to children. To prevent this, we need to teach people that gambling can harm children because they are more likely to fall into problem gambling if they start young. I am very happy to have learned a lot about problem gambling and photography techniques. Next up is Francis.
Hello, my name is Francis Leadholm and I'm a part of the Somerville Photovoice gambling program. These are my photos. This photo portrays the aftermath of a gambling session, whether good or bad. This can relate to our lives because this could be one of your friends, your parents, your relatives, your teachers, anyone. This can happen to anyone within a small amount of time, which is why it is very important to not turn a blind eye and spread awareness. This is a gambling ad in a children's app, and I think it is very risky for an ad to be on a website where kids play games. It could influence them to try and get it and get involved in gambling. Even seeing this ad multiple times could make them curious and find a way to start gambling. Also, younger kids are way more impressionable than older people, so the fact that this is on a kids app instead of an app for all ages is worse. While I was in this program, I learned about the many risks of gambling if you are not careful, such as addiction. My favorite part about this program was spreading awareness for gambling and addiction. Thank you for viewing my photos. Next is Ariana.
Hi, my name is Brianna Ray, and I've been part of this Photovoice project for the past 5 months. For my first photos, people look at their favorite sports teams and think of betting/gambling as a fun game for a way to interact with their favorite teams. Something that we can do is talk to the adults in each family's household. We could tell them about the risks and effects about the kids getting into this type of situation. This is how it could lead to a gambling problem in the future. For my second photo, on our everyday favorite games in elementary school, we sometimes find that gambling influences our present. Some of them are like the picture shown. Something that we could do about this is make schools and parents aware of these harmful influences and ask them to ban students from using them. Something I learned during this project is photography ethics. Something I liked during this project was the photography treasure hunt. Thank you. Now we are going to take a break and open the floor to anyone with questions or feedback.
Thank you, Ariana. Let's give these youth a big round of applause for sharing their photography and insightful captions with us. Nice work, you guys. Now we'd like to open it out for any questions or comments for our audience. Please type them in the chat now, and in just a moment, Eloise will invite you to share your questions and comments after you post them. And we do have some more photos to share with you in just a bit, but we just want to take a quick break to offer a moment for you to share any thoughts or questions you have.
I'm seeing a lot of really nice work. The first question is, was this whole process
I could answer.
online, or did you also meet in person? Eli, do you want to take that?
The whole process was online up until our last meeting was in early December. We met every Thursday for about an hour and a half or so. And so we would take photos in the space between, and then everybody would present 3 photos from that week with captions covering that photo, explaining how it relates to the issue and things like that. And then we would all share and give some criticism, not criticism, but like what we thought about it, what we thought could be better, what we liked about it, things like that. But it was all online.
Great, thank you. How many meetings did you have?
I don't know the exact number, but we started the project in August, I think, like late August. And then we did regular weekly meetings. I think a couple weeks we skipped because there was like a holiday on Thursday, or it was some kind of vacation, but almost every week until about early to mid-December.
Great job, thank you.
Yep.
I'm seeing a question that says, why did you choose to participate in this project? Is there anyone who wants to answer that?
I can go. Or okay, well, I guess I should go. I chose to participate in this project because I really was interested in like photography, and I wanted to learn more about like perspectives and different ways to like get a good shot and get people interested in what you're about to like show them. Also, I was really interested in spreading awareness for gambling and addiction and that whole like area. So yeah.
Thank you, Francis.
Awesome. It looks like we have one more question that says, oh, a couple more questions. What is your favorite thing that you learned about photography, and what was your favorite thing you learned about gambling?
So my favorite thing I learned about photography is that like there's all different, like, I guess you could say, angles and different ways of taking a photo and how you can express it. And I'm sorry, what was the other part of the question?
What was your favorite thing you learned about youth gambling?
I really liked, like, I thought it was really interesting how there's all these different ways of gambling, and I really never realized that until I came to this project.
Really great. Thank you guys for answering those. Should we move on, Lovely?
Yeah, we're going to have another opportunity for more questions and comments. So yeah, let's move on to the next set of photos, and we'll get back to this in just a moment. Okay, so up next is Sheetal.
Hello, my name is Sheetal, and for these past few months, I have been working with the Photovoice team to learn more about our community and preventing youth gambling. Now, here are some pictures to portray what I have learned and what we can do about this problem. In this picture, we see a deck of cards. These cards are ready to be played with not only by adults, but also by kids. Cards are highly associated with gambling, and although scratch tickets have an age limit to buy them, cards do not. When kids are exposed to cards, they're not only exposed to the winning and losing mentality, but also card games that are often played in casinos. To solve this, instead of getting these, we can buy other friendly games such as Uno. Uno is a great replacement for these games, and if someone has never played Uno before, they can try and take a healthy risk. In the second picture, it is quite clear that unlike other scratch tickets, this one has dogs, and the goal here seems to be to match the shown dogs to your own dogs. The design, the bright colors, and the dog pictures shown in this ticket are not only appealing to adults, but also kids. Scratch tickets are targeted towards adults, but this particular scratch ticket seems to be targeting kids. If kids are not attracted towards normal scratch tickets, they will for sure be attracted to this one, as most kids adore dogs. In order to overcome this, we can write a letter to the state lottery where the contents would state the appeal that this scratch ticket has for kids and the potential harm it can have on a community. I also wanted to share that in this program, I have been able to learn not only about gambling, but also different compositions of photography, which is not only helpful for this program, but on my life throughout. I really enjoyed this program because it really was a pleasure working with other youth leaders like me who wanted to contribute and create change within our community. Thank you so much for listening. Now I'll pass it off to our next youth leader, Brianna.
Hello, my name is Brianna Bonilla Bartlett, and I've been working with Photovoice for the past couple months to help the community as much as I can to prevent youth gambling. In this picture, right out in the open is a smoke shop with many tempting posters that are visible to young kids. In addition, these posters are low enough for little kids to read. This could lead to problem gambling in the future because of all the exposure at a young age. Signs advertising potential harmful things should not be in places where kids can see. This picture represents the perspective of someone suffering from addiction. I took this photo on a very gloomy, dark day. I thought an addiction may feel like this. People with an addiction may not be able to see the happiness in a day. They may only see the darkness, like in this picture. People who don't suffer from an addiction can feel the happiness
and can enjoy the day. Youth need healthy risks to prevent unhealthy risks that can lead to dangerous addictions. I wanted to start this program because I wanted to increase my knowledge on our community and the harms. Next up is Alceo.
Hello, my name is Eliseo. Hi, I was working with the Photo Youth program for a couple of months now, and I wanted to show you the pictures that I've collected over the months, my research in youth gambling. So this picture of an advertisement at a fast food restaurant. This poster shows another way of gambling and can be any age to take part of this gambling. To play, all you need to do is just have money or food, and that's it. However, you have a low chance of winning the item that you see on the screen on the poster. Just like in other types of gambling, early exposure like this can influence kids to get into real gambling. Next slide, please. I wanted this picture to show for some that you can gamble and it can end with you betting everything that you have. Losing it all here in person is not only betting with chips, but it's also betting with jewelry. Sometimes people risk everything to see if they can make it big time, but most of the times they worsen their situation. This is called problem gambling. If you know someone that is suffering from problem gambling, please share this helpline. Something that I learned working with the photo booth is that pictures can sometimes have bigger influences on people than words. Thank you. Next up is Aaliyah.
Hi, my name is Aaliyah, and I'm a participant of this Photovoice project to prevent and promote the risks of underage gambling. Just like the food we eat affects the way we think, gambling may affect the way we think too, was my intention while taking these pictures. From these pictures, I wanted to express how gambling could affect us with something we all do, eat. Next slide, please. It's hard to escape what's presented to you daily. At this convenience store, many kids go here to get snacks, and I'm met with this huge lottery sign telling them the amount of money they can get just by sparing a few dollars. From this picture, I want to express that when in situations like this, it might influence kids to begin gambling because it's presented to us daily. What we can do about this is we can start petitions and work together as a community to take down these sides that may lure kids and teens into gambling. In this project, I learned a lot about underage gambling and its risks. My favorite part of this project is probably researching and looking into the stuff around me that may relate back to gambling. Thank you. Next up is Sylvie.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sylvie Laurie. I use she, her pronouns, and I hope everyone's night is going well. I've been doing the Photovoice program for a while now, and I wanted to show you some of my favorite photos. Here you see some scratch tickets with a pair of dice on top, and I'm trying to capture how easily you can get wrapped up in these things. You see scratch tickets all the time in streets and stores and maybe even in your own home. Something as simple as this can lead to wasting more and more money on the gamble that you might win, or that you can be cautious of being aware that you can get attached easily and fall into problem gambling. Next slide, please. Thank you. This shows a youth trying something new. It captures the excitement from the thrill of a new trick. Instead of putting yourself at risk by being exposed to gambling or other unhealthy risks, you can try a fun new trick on a skateboard or find a new hobby to try out. Instead of getting attached to an unhealthy type of rush, try a different activity. It's a lot safer and can give you the same sense of excitement. I wanted to share something I learned and that I really enjoyed. Something that I learned was that gambling can take so many forms of different things. It can be a simple card game, just like a few pennies. Still gambling can lead to a problem. And something that I really loved was the photo aspect, because I love photography. It's something that I'm really passionate about. So I really enjoyed that. Thank you for listening. And yeah, thanks. Next up is Chantal.
Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Chantal, and I really hope that you enjoyed our virtual photo voice exhibit. Before we open it up to more questions and comments, I want to share with you all another important part of our work. One of the main elements of our Photovoice project was creating a community call to action. For our call to action, we want to raise awareness around the issues and harms associated with underage and problem gambling. The hope is that this call to action will motivate members of our community to not only learn more about the risks, but also to take an active stance in preventing underage and problem gambling. Thank you so much for listening. Now I want to turn it over to Lovely and Eloise for more questions and comments.
Thank you, Chantel. Thank you, everyone. Let's unmute ourselves and give the youth a huge round of applause. Nice job, everyone. Those were awesome. Okay. Well, they've been working very hard over the last several months to capture images and create captions that highlight the conditions that they and others experience in our community that are related to underage and problem gambling. We're very, very proud of their commitment to this important issue. And we want to make sure that we acknowledge their hard work and share our appreciation. So thank you again, you guys. You did an amazing job. Now we want to open it up for some more questions. We're happy to take more questions and comments from the audience. If you just type them into the chat now, we'll get to as many as we possibly can. And in just a moment, Eloise will invite you to share your question and or comment after you post them in the chat.
Awesome.
Okay, some really nice comments.
Yeah, have some questions coming in. Okay, this first question might be best answered by one of our partners as opposed to one of the youth, but are lottery tickets considered the most common gateway to gambling?
That's a great question. Maybe Rachel can help us with that. Do we have data on the most common
I'm happy to help.
gateway?
And Sarah Jerome, I know I see you too, so happy to please jump in. So I would say that, like, because there are so many different forms of gambling, it's not one specific thing. It's the continued exposure to these multiple forms that come in so many different ways, from raffles to poker games, including lotto tickets and other items. So it's I think there's an array, and that consistent exposure over time is part of that. Sarah, would you add anything to that?
I agree, spot on. And just that they're different sources also. So there are things that different opportunities for gambling online as there are in person, outside of the lottery as well. And just in general, things that happen at the community level, or in homes as well. Yeah.
Yes, and I would just add to that is one of the slides, or maybe even a couple of the pictures that the youth included in their exhibit, are talking about some of the video games that young people are using and the apps that they're using, and how many of those apps include these enticing opportunities that are very similar to gambling and maybe a primer for later use or involvement in gambling. So it's something to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. Our next question can be answered by one of our youth participants. And Isabella wants to know, how did you hear about this opportunity and where did you go to take your photos? So if there's one of our participants wants to jump in for that one.
I heard about this project from a friend, and to find my photos, I would just kind of walk around the Somerville and places near that, and I would kind of like look around and say this, there were also ones like the ones that I took of the cars I did at home because I thought I could represent something. But like the Encore, I was taking a walk with my dad and my brother, and I saw the casino in like kind of a park. So it really just showed that you can't really go very many places in Somerville without being able to see the casino. unless there's like unless you're like underground or something. But if you're if you're at any kind of like altitude or elevation, you can see it from everywhere. So it just kind of showed that even in a place like a park where there are not very many bad things about a park, you can still see the casino and still see the image that it represents.
Awesome. Thank you, Eli. Does another one of our participants want to answer the question of what are some of the ways that you think you can help prevent problem gambling? Maybe just some of the thoughts that you had from your caption, that answer might already be embedded a little bit in your talking points. If someone wants to give that a shot.
I can go. With finding a way to like get people educated on it, I feel like the most we can do is try to get the word out as much as we can. And with the photos, for mine, when we were looking out on the street, I feel like that was a good way because a lot of the times people don't realize how easy it is to find a healthy way, like not to do unbeneficial things for themselves, like such as driving. So I feel like it's just good to bring awareness to how easy it could be. It's not like something hard.
Absolutely. Lovely. This question might be best answered by you. Will these images be shared with others in Somerville?
Oh, yes, we will be sharing these images. Thank you for asking that question. These, beyond this being recorded and then uploaded to our YouTube, for those of you who didn't hear that earlier, we're recording this event and it will be included on our YouTube channel, but we will also be sharing it through social media over the next several months. And we are going to also have a printed version. So we'll have the photos printed and mounted, and there will be traveling exhibits that will travel to different community locations throughout Somerville. So you can see it that way too.
Here is more of a broad question, but would sports betting be another gateway activity into gambling? Sports betting is something we talked about briefly at the beginning of this program. So I don't know who might best be able to answer that.
I could take that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just another example of a form of gambling that's out there. And I talk a lot about this with the prevention staff, so they probably will hear this again. But this is just something that there's an ever-changing landscape with a lot of this, and if it's not one way, it's another way. And I think there's a lot of evolving aspects to it that we just need to keep our eye on and kind of make sure that they're being done in a way that's being mindful of not having any inadvertent exposure or any inadvertent consequences to youth. So I think someone asked about fundraising as well further up, and I think it's just something similar where you may not necessarily think about it as a form of problem gambling or a form of gambling in general, but it's some of those smaller things that I think the youth would probably say, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, that it's something that unless you are made aware about it, it may not be something you think about in that way. Thank you.
One more question is, did we discuss that the odds of winning at all of these games are very slim? Does one of the youth want to answer that and maybe think of some of the examples that we talked about your odds of winning the lottery versus your odds of other things happening? Does anyone remember those?
I remember that we talked about how, I think your chances of getting killed by bee stings are higher than you winning the lottery. Basically, you could get killed in a car crash, a bike crash, get struck by lightning, and all those chances are higher than winning the lottery. I mean, maybe it's not get struck by lightning, but I don't know. I think it's possible that basically along those lines, a lot of stuff is more likely to happen to you than winning the lottery. So.
a lot of stuff, Francis, that we think about as being super rare, right? But they're way more likely to happen than winning the lottery.
Great, thank you. Any other questions, Eloise?
It is looking like the end of what has been asked in the chat. If
I think there was one other one asked in the earlier session. I think it was from Kathy, and it's for the youth in terms of, are there family or friends who don't think gambling is a problem? How did you address this?
That's a great question.
Anyone?
It's always a tough one when there's a family or a family member or a loved one that might be engaged in problem gambling. It can be a difficult thing to address, but I know that in one of our captions, we did have a helpline. If you go back a couple of slides, Matt, you'll see the helpline number. A few more. There it is at the bottom there, 1-800. There is a helpline. So if you do know somebody that needs help, if you can share this helpline number, I think that's one good thing that you can do. And so the number is 1-800-327-5050. Thank you. And do any of the youth that didn't have a chance to share want to share anything about their experience with the project? Something, a reason why you got involved with the project, or why you chose to take any of the images that you took. Does anyone that hasn't had a chance to share yet want to share about those or anything else?
Yeah, I joined this program because before I found out about this program and got involved, I didn't know that youth gambling was a problem in our community. And I thought that because someone who was part of this community, didn't know of this problem, I thought like other people may also not be aware of this. So seizing this opportunity, I wanted to spread awareness and positively impact my community with other youth leaders who had similar ideas and interests as me, while also sharpening my leadership skills.
Nice, thank you, Sheetal. Anyone else?
The reason I picked the photo of Encore Casino to share in my presentation is because I thought it was quite ironic that it was a very pretty photo of such a potentially dangerous establishment.
All right, well, thank you. Thanks, Kate. Anyone else? Sylvie? Aaliyah?
Yeah, what's the question? Sorry.
Why did you want to get involved in this project, or why did you choose to take any of the photos?
I can talk about why I decided to go into the project. So when I was in 6th grade, I did a Somerville Youth Prevention program with Lovely, and I was based around drug use and prevention and drinking. And after that whole program, it lasted around a year every half day on Wednesday. I loved it. Like, we did all these projects with drawing chalk in front of the high school, or going to a alcohol place and like putting stickers, and just like there were small actions that could make a difference. And like, I guess it made me happy to think that I could have made a difference. So when I learned that there was a whole new thing starting up with gambling, I jumped at the idea, because I don't know if it's selfish, but I loved that feeling that I did something. So I wanted to help other people. I love helping people. That's just kind of my thing. So I had a lot of fun with this, and that's why I wanted to do it again.
Great, thank you, Sylvie. Anyone else that hasn't had a chance to share?
I'd like to go. I would like to answer the question why I chose to take my pictures. So as you can see, all my pictures that I took were related to children and exposure to gambling. I wanted to show the effects of gambling on young children and how exposure can affect many. Even if people might expose children without any ill intent, it can be very harmful. I wanted to take these pictures so families could be educated about exposure to children, and so children can live healthy and safe lives.
Thank you. Thank you, Shreya. Anyone else?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
did
great.
someone else want to go? I thought someone else wanted to go. So basically, I got interested in this project because of the book, The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. And in the book, it discusses like Jeanette Walls' story and how when she was younger, I think her mom was like mentally unstable and her dad was addicted to gambling and drinking and stuff. And it literally led to her literally moving like all the time. And like the story was just so crazy. I read it with my dad and my sister when I was in 6th grade, I think. And once I read that book, I opened my eyes and I was like, how are people going through this? Like a person should never go through this pain. And like, so once I heard about this project, I was like, might as well just join since, you know, I know a lot about the topic, and I read the book, which really discusses it from like her point of view. And I was like, I want to do something to prevent someone that may go through the same thing. And yeah.
That's great. Thank you, Aaliyah. Will you type the name of the book into the chat for people if they want to maybe check it out?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, thank you. That's great. Anyone else want to share?
Can I share on one?
Sure.
Hi, I'm Brianna. I chose my first photo about the sport teams and betting on the team. I'm betting on them. I chose them because my family loves watching like football and baseball, and we joke around on like who's going to win. But I do know that there are like some families that bet on their favorite teams, and I just wanted people to know like that you have to be aware of what you're doing in front of like younger people, because it might cause like an addiction in the future or a problem.
Great, thank you. And thanks for sharing the book title there too. I see that in the chat. Thank you both. Okay, last call on sharing on any of the questions or asking questions. Anyone? Okay. All right.
I had asked a question.
Oh, sure. Yes.
I asked it in the chat. I'm sorry I came in late. I look forward to whatever gets posted. The question was about Dave and Buster's.
Yes.
And I asked people, why isn't Dave and Buster's regulated as a casino? And I didn't really get a straight answer, but then I figured when I looked at their advertising, they advertise as a restaurant. But when I've gone there, which I was taken there by somebody else, I was very conscious about the idea of the conversion of buying credits, then credits become tokens, tokens have a different value. And at the end of the day, the reward is the store or whatever. And I see kids just, especially buying candy and sort of the addiction of the candy related to the trying to win and so forth. And I really feel like it's a place that really encourages gambling to children at a very young age, using the concept of toys and games, buying credits, buying rewards, and getting something. And I don't understand how they as an institution have been able to get past casino kind of regulations and stuff like that.
Wow, that's a great question. Thank you for asking it. Maybe Rachel, are you able to help with that one?
That is something I would have to look into a little bit more. There is specific legislation about what it means to be a casino or a betting establishment. So that might be where the answer lies. And Lorena, I don't know if you have anything to add there.
I would also have to look into it as well, but my guess is that it has to do with the legislation that establishes the casinos and what they define as casinos, as well as the fact that in casinos it's cash rather than prizes and arcades.
Mm. Oh, it's very interesting. Yeah, we'll put that on our list to
But
further investigate.
I just wanted to add that I do agree that it's a very that can present a very slippery slope.
Yeah. Great question. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So I think we're going to move on just in the interest of time. And so again, thank you for sharing your questions and comments with us. We're going to jump back into the next piece, which is a thank you that we want to share. And so now we'll turn it over to Frances to share some program appreciations.
Hi everyone, again my name is Frances. We wanted to extend a big thank you to all of the adults who participated in our caregiver event. It was great to hear your feedback as well as provide us an opportunity to practice for presentations. Thank you for all of your feedback during this process. We hope you had fun and learned a lot. We also wanted to take a moment to thank our funders and partners, especially the Department of Public Health's Office of Problem Gambling for funding this project and giving us the opportunity to do this important work, the Cambridge Health Alliance for partnering with us on this project and ongoing support, the Educational Development Center, especially the Massachusetts Center of Excellence on Problem Gambling Division, for their expertise and technical assistance.
We would also want to say thank you, a very special thank you to Lovely and Eloise with Somerville Cares About Prevention, Matthew Mitchell and Somerville Prevention Services, the City of Somerville, and especially Mayor Joseph Curtatone for continuing to value and support youth leadership around in Somerville. This project would not have been possible without the support of each of you, and we are very grateful. Now I will turn it back to Lovely and Eloise. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheetal, and thank you, Frances. Now we'd like to present some virtual appreciation awards to each of the youth involved in this project for their dedication, their creativity, their leadership, and working to raise awareness around youth and problem gambling. Eloise and I are tremendously proud of their many accomplishments. Throughout their journey together, we've learned a lot and grown a lot. And it's been a beautiful experience. So please join us in celebrating their commitment and successes. Eloise will call the name of each leader. Please unmute yourself after she calls each name for a big round of applause.
Right. Brianna Bonilla Bartlett.
Yay! Congratulations. Thank you.
Eliseo Fuentes.
Good job.
Eli Hall.
Eli, all right. Good job, Eli.
Aaliyah Jama.
Good job, Aaliyah.
Hi.
Aisha Crouch.
Aisha.
Frances Leadholm. Sylvie Laurie. Shreya Musaju. Chatal Oli. Ariana Ray.
Yay, Ariana.
And Kate Wallace.
Hey, Kate. Nice job. Okay, well, thank you, Eloise, and thank you all again to our wonderful youth leaders. Now we'd like to present one last appreciation award to our amazing intern, Eloise White. Thank you for all of your support and effort on this project. We are very grateful for your encouragement and warm presence. You're such a talented, brilliant, and hardworking individual, and we know that you will find great success in all of your future endeavors. Please accept this award of appreciation, this virtual award of appreciation for your support, leadership, and leadership with our deepest gratitude. Let's give Eloise and all of our youth leaders a big round of applause. Yay! Now I'm going to turn it over to Alicio for the closing.
Hello again. Now before we close our event tonight, we would like to thank you again for joining us and supporting our work, prevent youth gambling in Somerville. Before you leave tonight, we would be happy if you could complete a short event survey. Click on the link in the chat box to fill out. And please make sure to follow Somerville Prevention on social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you again. Once again, have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Be sure to fill out that survey. Thanks again. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks, everyone.